Hi, my name is Charles Akea. This is my interview for those who have been bullied in their life. So this is for my blog, and here we go, I guess. Joella, have you been bullied before in the past?
Yes, I have.
And how did this experience made you feel?
Well, at first, I was angry, and it made me quite sad. And obviously, I felt very bad and negative towards myself because of what the people were saying to me.
Does this bullying like make you? Have you ever felt like retaliating against the bullying? Have you ever felt like, I don't know, punching them in the face? Like when someone like be rude to you, do you feel like hurting them? Do you feel like using the rage to put on you onto them, or do you feel like turning a teacher or someone who can like help you?
Well, of course, at first, I wanted to retaliate against the bullies, but whenever I said anything to them, it made them worse, and it made the bullying worse. At first, I didn't tell the teachers because I didn't think that they would do anything. When I finally did tell the teachers, at first nothing was done, and it wasn't until quite a long way after the bullying started and myself constantly telling teachers that this was going on that they actually stepped in and spoke to the bullies themselves.
How did it? How did the bullies bully you? Did they do to like hurt your feelings?
First, it was just name calling. Um, Things like fat, four eyes, stinky, the normal kind of words and rude things that kids say to each other in primary school. Then after a while, my friends stopped hanging out with me, stopped talking to me, and I ended up being on my own all the time. And then it got to throwing things at me in class. One girl tried to cut my hair in class, um, and try to trip me up in the playground and on the corridors and things like that as well.
If have you ever thought to yourself that these people might be bullying you to like just so like because they're learning themselves, or they're doing it to make fun of you?
At the time, I didn't think anything like that. I just thought they were mean, they were cruel, and they were horrible. But as you get older, you realise that most of the time, bullies are doing what they're doing because they feel insecure about themselves or they have insecurities and they're bullying you to hide the fact that they don't feel good about themselves. But you don't know that when you're in primary school as a 10-year-old, as a 7-year-old, because you're not old enough to realise that. It's only once I sort of became later on in high school and college that I learnt that, and that's really changed how I feel about the situations now.
Can you tell me if your bullying was repeated?
Well, throughout primary school and high school, yes. I mean, I am not the smallest person. I am overweight, so the bullying was almost constant throughout uh, school and high school. And even now, when I'm out and about, sometimes people shoot me a look or might make a snigger or might make a comment. I've worked in schools and I've even had students in the schools make comments like, why don't you just go and eat cake? Or shut up, miss, just go and have some sweets and calm down. So it doesn't ever really stop when you're somebody like myself who's overweight. There will always be those small negative people who will make those comments. But like I said, because I know now that they have insecurities, I know it's not me that's the problem. They are the ones with the problem. So I deal with the situation much differently now.
How did being bullied affect your life?
At school, I didn't want to go to school. I wanted to stay home. I'd bunk school. I'd do things like I'd try and do anything to not go out in the playground, like volunteer to help in the library, or I'd sit in the library at lunch times in high school, and just try everything I could do to avoid being around people at first. But then as the bullying became more constant, it just got to a point where I was used to it and just got on with my life and carried on. And the more the bullying happened, the more I realised that, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and I just kind of got on with life.
Thank you. That's all I would like to know. Thank you very much for doing this interview. It will help me a lot in my work, and I hope that the bullying can stop in your life and others' life. That's why I'm doing this in the first place.
Do me a favour though, when you put it on your